I know, it's too hot.
I'm Kendra,
I'm Ryland.
and we might regret this. Pretty sure we just wasted like 10 minutes of that, so.
We need something that.
Well, you know, we need a little laughter, right?
Didn't you just say, don't make me laugh, it hurts?
Fuck you.
You've been laughing this entire time.
It's your fault for being funny. I will blame you. I will 100% blame you every day, all the time.
I didn't do anything. Trauma. Manipulation.
Wait, you're manipulative? Or are you being manipulated?
I have been so manipulated by men in my life.
That is true.
Speaking of,
Oh boy.
a man that was previously in your life that is no longer in your life, but still kind of, but he's on his way out. As soon as we get some stuff squared away, he's gone.
Oh,
He stopped it. He looked at me,
mm-hmm.
rolled his eyes, and walked out. So now, anytime I see him, I look at him, roll my eyes, and turn around. If you're watching, you're welcome. If you're listening, you're welcome.
Ugh. If you ever meet us, just know we'll give people a chance. But
If you blow that, that's on you.
exactly. Do we dive into the topic, or do you want to chit chat some more?
I don't know, we chit chat a lot in the first one. I don't have a whole lot to say. Welcome to her house. This is her plant.
I have not watered it in like 2 weeks.
It's starting to die. We can turn it. It's okay.
It's okay. It's gonna survive. It'll survive.
This is her love seat. That is her couch. She has a stick.
Yeah, my lovely husband brought me a walking stick since I hurt my back today.
Yeah.
All right. So mine is more mental health, chronic illness related.
So don't be making jokes. That's frowned upon.
For who?
I don't know. Not us. It's already starting.
Yeah. All right.
I think we should look into getting better headsets
So,
and mics.
yeah. I'm giving it a little time because I did look up a really good one. Like, 3 in that AI review Google thing, it said 3. One was like almost 500.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no. And then the next one was like $199 on Amazon, and I was like, that's not bad.
Black Friday.
That's a ways away though.
Cyber Monday. Okay, that's after Black Friday.
Exactly.
Isn't there something in like June or July?
Probably.
We'll watch for the deals.
All right. So the spoon theory is the first one. The spoon theory is a way of describing the experience of chronic illness and its limitations using a metaphor.
I do that all the time.
I learned about this in therapy.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like, you know what? If nothing else, this is gonna be like a good way of like just for people who know friends or family that have chronic illnesses to have kind of like a better understanding and awareness of what they're going through. It was created by Kristen. Ooh.
You didn't check how to say the last name, did you?
No. Messerandino. Messerandino? I don't know.
If she said it wrong, we apologize.
I do apologize. My bad. Who has lupus, an invisible illness which causes chronic fatigue, chronic pain, and many other symptoms that limit her energy levels and ability to do everything.
That's a kidney disease.
Everyday things.
It's a kidney disease because that's what they thought Shane had. I remember because we went over lupus and there was something that they had to check, but he didn't have a low enough number for that, which is how they figured out that he had just had kidney disease.
Yeah. So.
Selena Gomez has it.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
And her friend donated her kidney, but they're not really friends anymore. I don't know the whole backstory. But I can't think of the friend that donated, but she's famous too. She was in, teenage pregnant, some ABC show.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Life of a Teenager or something like that.
Oh, okay.
She was one of the friends that they made out to be a whore, but typical.
I know. Men can do it, but apparently women can't.
It's highly frowned upon.
All right. So, with the spoon theory, each day you have 12 spoons. Okay?
Okay.
Each activity costs a different number of spoons. Here, I'll read a little bit down. A person has roughly the same amount of energy each day. Each unit of energy is represented by a spoon. Healthy people have more spoons, energy than those with an illness that causes chronic fatigue. Some activities cost more spoons than others. A person with a fatiguing chronic illness needs to make decisions about which activities to spend their limited number of spoons on / energy. The illness stops them doing many things that they want to do. A chronic illness, that means if the person does too much in the morning, they will not have enough spoons left for the afternoon or evening. The chronic illness may mean that a person can do something in the morning or on the afternoon, but not both. They may seem inconsistent because their energy levels and number of spoons fluctuate. A healthy person does not need to plan how to spend their spoons because they do not have an illness that limits them.
Okay.
So, spoons and energy. Activities such as getting up, getting dressed, doing your hair, doing your makeup cost like 1 spoon. Taking a shower, tidying up after getting ready, trip to the pharmacy, those are 2 to 3 spoons. And then making dinner is 3 spoons. So basically, you have to sit there and figure out, how much energy you have. If you lose sleep over the night, you lose a couple of spoons because you don't have as much energy as you normally would.
So I would never have 12 spoons.
I don't have. So, activities like taking meds, watching TV, getting dressed cost 1 spoon. 2 spoons can equal take a shower, socializing, paying bills. 3 spoons is cleaning, shopping, making dinner. 4 spoons going to work, taking kids to school, doing yard work, and household chores.
Okay.
So personally, I feel like I almost feel like you should add in there, and this is my personal opinion, because obviously this is something that's universally used to describe how people deal with managing chronic illnesses and living day-to-day life, but I feel like there should also be taken into account, like, the mental load of it, of, like, having to sit there and manage it, stressing out about it, because, like, for me personally, like, I feel like I use, like, 3 to 4 spoons a day just trying to, well, hey, do I need to take more meds than I normally do today based on how I feel?
Sitting there and analyzing everything.
Yeah.
That's
feel
fair.
like
that's
that-
fair.
I feel like that should also be added in there because, like, with my illnesses, it's like my day to day is very, very fluctuant.
I was gonna say you don't ever have a
I don't have.
repeat or like a schedule. You don't
Yeah.
follow a schedule. Your body makes its own decisions.
Yeah, and I don't know. That's just my opinion, but I feel like there should also just be the added factor of like having to take into consideration of like the stress of managing it, stressing about it. Like that takes energy too, and it takes a lot of energy. But that's my personal opinion.
I would agree with that.
So that's kind of basically the spoon theory.
And you learned about that in therapy?
Yes.
Well, I didn't learn about that in therapy. I learned about EMDR, and I will never do that again. I got such bloody noses from that.
Gee,
I put tampons in my nose, and they were filling so fast.
that's insane.
Yeah, when I told my therapist about it, he's like, I need to talk to somebody. And then we just decided that EMDR is not for you.
Yeah. I did EMDR.
It's not fun, and not
No.
all therapy is fun, but it's hard because at the time you're reliving situations that were not easy for you.
Yeah.
And then later on they come back.
Mhm.
And because you went and thought about something that you haven't thought about in years, it's now right up front.
Yep.
And then as you think about it, your body reacts, which is what was happening with my nose.
Mhm.
And so I would go to therapy, and then within the next 2 to 3, and it was always at night, my nose would just bleed.
Oh.
And it was bad. It was disgusting. I felt disgusting. I had a hard time sleeping because I'm reliving everything. It was not good.
Yeah.
And so my therapist and I discussed it. We were like, this is not working. And I told him, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. Can we do literally anything else? We can
Mhm.
talk about it and we can visit on it. And then when I feel uncomfortable, we can change.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done since.
I did some EMDR. I don't know. I think
Did you do the eye stuff or did you do like the wands?
I did the buzzers.
Yeah, the wands.
Yeah.
That's what I call them.
I did the buzzers. I don't know. I
I think it depends on the type of person you are.
could do it. I obviously did not enjoy it.
I don't know one person that's been
No.
like, EMDR is the one thing that I love.
I think everyone can cumulatively say that it sucks. It did help me, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
I hate. I think I just after because I went through that, did the EMDR, got to a decently good place, and after that, I was just like, I don't even want to touch any of this stuff anymore. Like, I don't want to go back. I'm done.
Yeah, and I think you kind of went through a different situation than I did as far as being able to just put it on a shelf because you were going through a whole different change in that time.
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where there was so much going on, and while doing that, that I'd do the EMDR, but because of everything else that was also currently going on in my life, I'd separate as soon as I walked out for the most part.
Yeah.
Because there was just too much going on for me to sit there and focus on that and do everything else. So I guess in some ways it was kind of a good thing. It was stressful though.
Yeah, I mean, EMDR stands for eye, isn't it eye?
Probably. I'll look it up real quick.
Eye movement, no.
Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing.
I was close, I got
You
halfway there.
I wouldn't even got that.
I just remember the eye movement because I thought it was weird that it was eye movement.
Well, I think the reason, so going back to the spoon theory a little bit, the reason why it got brought up in therapy for me was because after a certain amount of time of working through my trauma, it also became a thing of like, my anxiety and depression last year was so bad because of how bad my Crohn's was that it was just like, it started becoming a thing of where my therapist was also trying to help me manage my anxiety and depression because of my Crohn's. And then I had one therapist, and he actually I ended up getting two.
I remember when you told me that, and I was like, oh man.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but so I had one therapist to deal with trauma and stuff, and then I had another therapist that worked specifically, somatic therapy is what she did. And she would work specifically to try and help me manage my anxiety and depression and come to accept my Crohn's.
I have a regular doctor. I have a lady doctor. I have a med specialist. And I have a therapist. So you're welcome for all my money.
But yeah, he ended up bringing that up because I was just struggling so much, and he's like, I was struggling also to like explain things to Joey about like, because he obviously is very understanding and super supportive through everything. He's been absolutely amazing through all of this, and but it was hard. It was very difficult for me to to come to the conclusion and understand of like, well, it is a chronic illness. Of course, I'm not going to be able to do everything I used to do. Because I used to work out all the time. I couldn't do that anymore.
And I think I kind of get where he's coming from, being the support, because my husband went through something not the same.
No. But
And being that support is hard because the person you love is going through such a hard time and you can't help. You physically cannot help. And it eats at you because you're like, if I can take this away, I would. If I can make it easier for them, I will. But you can't do that because of.
I don't know what he's doing.
Oh, there's a fly. Because of the illness. And it's hard because that Joey and I both would have done anything and everything to make it easier on both of you two. But obviously we couldn't. And I think being in the passenger seat of that, it's hard.
Oh, it is.
And you don't want to be like, this is hard on me too. But at some point, you've got to sit down and have these conversations, because Shane and I finally had to sit down and be like, I know it's hard on you, but this is hard on me too. Because when Shane's stuff happened, we got engaged. I was in school. His illness happened. And then I had another situation happen. I don't know how much I can say without. I had another situation with another friend at the time who needed me, and it felt like I was going in 20 different directions. And that was hard because I had to be a support for that friend, and I was a support for her family, and I was a support for my husband, and I was also at every doctor's appointment. My husband got diagnosed in 2020. And we are now in 25, and I think I have missed 2, maybe 3 appointments out of the whole thing. And at one point, he was going, was it weekly?
Yeah, I thought it was like 2 times a week.
At one time, he was going, twice a week to a doctor. And I was at every single appointment, and the only 2 times that I missed, I was sick.
Yeah.
And obviously, if I'm sick, I don't want to go because they see other patients.
Mm-hmm.
But being that support person, it's not easy either. And I'm not trying to take away from.
Oh, no.
It's just, if you are a support person, it's hard.
It is hard. And so my mom was like chronically ill growing up. So I spent a lot of time taking care of her and like being her support, especially right before she passed away. And that was kind of one of the things that I ended up having to, like, I went to my therapist a lot because I have a ton of guilt being the chronically ill partner. Because I feel,
I'm sure,
I feel horrible because I've been in that position to where you have to be the support and there's nothing you can do. And what?
Your dogs are barking and I thought it was our husband's downstairs.
But it's just, because, like, Joe, my cat's chasing us live. It's just, I know what it's like to be in that position, and I never wanted to be the person to put of all people, my partner in that position.
But I also think that says a lot for your character, to have been through something like that and then still feel, I don't want to say guilty, but you still feel bad. But that also means that you understand.
Oh, yeah. Because, like, I mean, it's something that, because I'm obviously having a lot of issues right now that I'm trying to work through with my illnesses. And it's just something that is definitely a recurring conversation of, like, how are you doing? Because I know you're not going through it, but, like,
it's a constant check-in. Which is good for a relationship.
It's affecting you too, because I know the mental toll it takes. And we've had so many conversations ever since I got diagnosed, 3 years ago, I think it's been, of where it's just like, I understand that I'm the one going through it, but like, I get it. It's hard. It weighs on you. And he's like, he always tells me, he's like, yes, it is hard. There is times it does weigh on me, but he's like, it has never been too much. Nothing
Yeah.
you have ever asked of me has ever been too much.
And the other thing is, like we said, we do holidays together, we do birthdays, we do the whole 9 yards. If she is in a flare up, we will cater to whatever she needs. It's not
And I
just,
feel so bad about it.
she shouldn't, but whatever. Like, obviously when we record, we're normally in my house. We're there because she works not too far from my house and I get off later. So
Yeah.
it works out. Obviously someone had to go and try and lift something today. Bless you.
It was less than 10. It was probably maybe 10 pounds, but you know.
So
Okay.
obviously we're here and this is just what we do. We make it whatever the other person needs.
Yeah. But I don't know, I just want to make sure it's one of those things where I also want to make sure that all of my friends are okay too, because I know it affects people, and of course I want to make sure Joey is okay through all this, because it's hard. It's hard on them too, and I feel bad.
You shouldn't feel bad. It's not like you asked for it.
No.
At least you didn't go around making jokes about getting not a mental illness, about getting some type of thing, and then you ended up with it like I did.
Mhm.
I used to joke about getting psoriasis, and now I get it really, really bad.
Yeah.
And summertime's coming, which means it's coming back. I need to find good hats to be outside in.
Oh, so kind of leading off what we were talking about. This is the backpack theory there, it kind of is similar. The way my therapist told it to me is not exactly the way that I'll read it, and then I'll explain what my therapist told me. That way it makes a little bit more sense. So, so this is by Nicole Ball, and I believe she's a therapist. She said, one analogy that I often use the idea of rocks in our backpack. Imagine that you are wearing a backpack. This is obviously an invisible backpack, but imagine it hanging on your back. You can feel the straps across your arms, feel the weight at the top of your shoulders across your back lightly pulling down. Now imagine that there are rocks in the backpack. The rocks represent things that are bothering us, things that we're holding on to, things that take up space in our lives. For some of us, we have small rocks like pebbles, rocks that represent our day-to-day stresses and responsibilities, things on our to-do list. Maybe there's just a handful for some of us, maybe a bucket full. Maybe some of the days those rocks are bigger and heavier because some stressful event going on in our lives, or maybe we are just having a rough day and the rocks seem just a little bit heavier. Can you feel the heaviness on your own backpack? Now imagine if those rocks were even bigger, like bricks or boulders, so heavy that it makes life hard to walk through because of the sheer weight of the backpack on your shoulders. These bricks or boulders represent the trauma we have experienced, the pain, the resentment we're holding on to, the depression, deep anxiety or fear, maybe anger or resentment, loss or grief. Walking through life every day with a backpack full of big rocks is hard. Sure, we could carry a heavy backpack on our shoulders for a mile, maybe a few, but to get up every day and carry boulders on our back as we try to go to work or school, try to raise children, be present in our relationships, attempt a social life, be there for others, or even take care of ourselves. I often encourage my clients to make some decisions about the rocks. With a backpack full or rocks holding you down, it may seem impossible just to pick one rock to focus on. But we must start somewhere. Maybe we pick an easy rock first. Create a plan, take care of the rock, and your backpack will be lighter. Maybe just a little lighter, but with time, one rock at a time, life will be easier to walk through when there isn't so much weight. Another option is to give some rocks away. Sometimes we hold so tightly onto a large rock because the thought of ever being able to tackle it feels scary and overwhelming, or maybe we have this large rock for so long it feels like it is forever attached. How much lighter would you make your backpack if you gave a rock away? Seek out others to hold space for you for your rocks. This could be a family member, a friend, or a counselor, anyone who will support you, not hold judgment against you, and who will validate your experience and your feelings. Maybe offering your rock to God, to nature, to the universe. Allowing someone else to hold your rock for you means some of the weight is taken away, making life a little easier to walk through.
So, I'm gonna bring it back.
Okay.
As we have discussed, I love reality TV.
Okay.
I was watching 90 Day, but they have like another spinoff. It's like 90 Day, The Last Resort. They go on a hike. It's couples. One person grabs a backpack, both of them have to grab rocks. And they write things that they're struggling with in their relationship on these rocks. Well, they had to hike up the hill, mountain, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're all taking different paths. And they make these pit stops. And they pull out one rock, they discuss it, they try to figure out, are we going to carry it with us or are we going to throw it? Do whatever, move on. The point is to go up with 4 rocks in your backpack and come down with none.
Oh, okay.
Not one couple did it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember I was watching and I was like, to me, they wouldn't be big deals, but in these people's lives, they were big.
Yeah.
So that's what that reminded me of. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what it is. Because they would like write their issues on the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then my stomach was growling. And then they would read them at these checkpoints. And then they would sit down and talk about it. And if they were going to let it go, it couldn't be an argument anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if they threw it,
That was the
could
end.
not be,
Yeah.
it can't be brought up, it can't be referred to, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one couple came back with 1, and everyone else was like 2+. One couple came back with all 4 of them.
Wow. Huh.
They broke up.
Yeah.
They didn't make it to the end to the like the ceremony where they say that they're gonna put in one last effort. They didn't make
Yeah.
it to that.
So the way my therapist referenced it was, so like with my condition, I have to take a lot of medications. Pretty much with every meal, I have medications that I have to take in the morning, in the evening. I have medications that I have to take with meals and stuff. And so I would go to my therapist and I'd be like, I feel bad because I come home, I'm so tired. Hey, stop.
The flig's over there.
I go to work, I'm sick, I'm in pain, I don't feel well, I expend all my energy, I come home, I don't have any energy to even take care of myself. And I told him, I was like, I feel terrible because, sometimes I lean on Joey for that. Because I'm like, if I'm in a bad flare, he'll make food for me, he'll make my evening medications for me, and it's fine. And I would tell
This
him,
is true. I've been on FaceTime with her, and he brings her food to her. He brings her drinks to her. He asks her if she needs anything else.
oh, he absolutely pampers me and takes care of me. And I feel guilty about it because it's like,
I should be able to
this
do
is-
these.
and it's like, this is my responsibility. Like, this is my thing to do. This is my illness. I shouldn't be leaning on someone else to take care of me when this is my thing to deal with. And my therapist was like, he said, people have a backpack full of rocks. It can be the rocks can be their job. It can be their relationships, their responsibilities. He's like, what you have is a boulder. He's like, you should not feel bad for having someone just putting a hand to lift it up a little bit off your back. He's like, that is totally fine. You have a boulder, you're carrying it around. And he's like, no one can take that boulder for you, but it is okay if people actually help a little bit and just pick up a little bit of the slack. And he's like, as long as you're not making it his responsibility, which I never would, then it's fine. He's choosing to do it of his own free will. That was probably one of the biggest breakthroughs for me of getting past, because I still feel guilt, obviously. I literally just said that, but it really, oh, I hate flies. It just,
That's gonna be a TikTok as well.
do your job, dude.
Yeah, come on. There's 3 of you.
But it was, yeah, there's 4. I have 4 cats.
1 doesn't count.
She counts.
Well, but she can't come out here and get the fly.
Yeah, well, she doesn't get along. Yeah.
I know. What? But I'm not saying she's not real. I'm just saying she can't come out here.
Yeah.
The other 3 are out here roaming. Well, the other 2 are downstairs, probably watching the guys.
Yeah. But it was kind of one of those things where it finally broke through to me that it was okay to lean a little bit on people. It was okay to have Joey help me as long as I don't expect him to always do it, and I don't. But it's definitely helped. So yeah, just PSA to people with chronically ill friends to give them a little space. Because they don't mean to flake on you.
Now I feel bad about what I said the other day.
About what? Oh, you're fine. Okay, I brought this up, but I didn't bring it up to point fingers at all.
Oh, no, I know.
Okay.
We have a running joke that if it rains, if it's cloudy, if it's windy, but like cold wind, if it's cold,
Yeah, like winter.
Ryland and Joey will cancel.
They're not wrong.
Usually it's when they're going to come to our house, they cancel. And so the other day, which we were supposed to record this the other day and we did, we were all supposed to hang out and they were supposed to come over. And they said we'll be there around 1 or before noon. They said before noon. And at 11 something, Shane and I were talking and I was like, you think they're gonna be here? And he's like, he looked outside and he goes, no. The weather says no. I said, what do you mean? He goes like, well, think about it. They cancel when it's cold, raining, wet, windy, any of those things, they cancel. And they actually showed up. So we were surprised, but yay.
Oh, you're fine. I didn't take any offense to it. But I guess it's very... I don't know anyone else that has a chronic illness, I guess, besides... I guess. I don't know. Like,
Get on Facebook. There's groups for everything.
yeah, so it's like one of those things where I wanted to do an episode about this just to make maybe if there's other people feel a little bit less alone, and to maybe if someone has a friend that has a chronic illness, it's like, hey, this is what they go through. Like it's hard. So that was the reason why I wanted to do this topic and do this episode, because I just thought, maybe it can help someone out there, just be a little understanding and make some other people not feel so alone.
Yeah, and one thing that she and I are really bad about since we started this, we actually have an email. And like, if you guys have stories or you just want to reach out and you just want to feel heard, our email is we might regret this
podcast@gmail.com, I believe.
Yeah, it'll be in the
We'll
show
link
notes.
it. Yeah,
It'll be in
we'll
the show
link
notes. I don't really want to end yet because we only talked for 30 minutes.
Oh.
We got to do a little bit more research on our things. The other thing with, taking meds, make sure you read what you're taking. No, I'm not, like,
Yeah.
she started taking,
Oh. Which ones are we talking about?
didn't you start taking a sleeping med?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's one that I had taken for years. I mean, literal years. And I think I had been on that for 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started seeing my med specialist, I was like, listen, I take this and it doesn't help. I don't sleep any longer. I don't stay asleep. I'm not getting like rest.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did a blood test. And when they test you for these meds, you're either yellow, green, or red. So obviously it means the same thing. Yellow,
Kind of.
green is good, red is not.
Yeah.
I was in the red,
Yeah.
and it made so much sense. So since then, we've messed with my meds, and every once in a while, when I get stressed out, we kind of balance them to kind of make them
Mm-hmm.
better, or if I don't need as much, we lower the dosage. But one thing that I love about my med specialist is we see each other every 3 months, and if I get stressed out, if I feel really anxious,
Mm-hmm.
I can text the office. They get me in. We do a video chat. She ups my meds. She says, I'll see you in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks. I see her then. If everything's good, we leave it. See you in a couple months. If you need me, text me. And when I tell you that the response time with her team, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I mean, I get a text and they're like, hey, we have this time, or this time, or this time. And I can say what time. I take my phone, I go to my car, and I do the video chat in my car. And then when I'm done, I get off my phone, I go back into work.
Yep.
And that's been a blessing. And also, you know, if you are struggling, there are ways for you to reach out to somebody. I'll probably put a couple options in the show notes.
Yep.
And don't be embarrassed if you take meds or if you have a therapist.
No. Also, do not be afraid to advocate for yourself if you're going through issues and you're trying to find good doctors. Because my first doctor it was horrible. It was ridiculous. I spent, I think, I want to say a year with her.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't going anywhere. They weren't listening to. So, Crohn's disease, there's kind of like, they don't really know what causes it. They do know if you consistently take ibuprofen, that can cause Crohn's, like it can make it obviously worse, which is why you can't take ibuprofen with Crohn's. And with that, my first doctor, she would be like, she's like, do you take ibuprofen? I was like, no, not really. Like, I think I've taken it twice just because I had bad cramps or something. Ever since I said that, she would constantly be like, oh, it's because you took ibuprofen. It's because you took the ibuprofen. Like, I spent a year listening to this doctor telling me that's the reason why I had Crohn's was because I took ibuprofen twice. And for you to get Crohn's from taking ibuprofen, that's like you're consistently taking it, you know? So she would not listen to anything that I had to say. I got switched to another PA who also wouldn't listen to anything I had to say. And I finally switched doctors, and it's been so much better, so amazing. Like, if you feel like you're not getting the type of care that you need, do not be afraid to advocate for yourself. Like,
And after you made that switch, you were much better off.
oh yeah.
Because you and I had talked many times after your first doctor's appointments. And the second doctor that you went and saw, we had talked on the phone after. And you were like, I feel hopeful.
Yeah.
And hearing you say that, and like you could hear it in your spirits that like you were in a better place. You felt better about it.
Yeah. Because I felt like this doctor actually cared.
You felt heard.
Yep. So whatever you do, advocate for yourself. Do not allow doctors to push you over. If you're not getting the level of care you need, find a different one.
And if you're not confident in their answers, you can always go get a second opinion.
Exactly. Do not be afraid to get a second opinion. Because if I hadn't gotten a second opinion, I wouldn't. Obviously, I'm in a flare, but like I wouldn't be.
Most of the time, we can do things.
Yeah, most of the time we can do things. Even if I am in a flare, I can kind of figure out a way to get around things. And she will adjust my meds based on how I'm feeling, or if things aren't working, she'll be like, okay, cool, let's try something else. Oh, that's not working. Let's try something else. You already did this? Okay, cool. We're not gonna revisit what already didn't work. Which was a problem that I had with my last doctor. It's like something wouldn't work and she'd just be like, oh, well, okay. And that was the end of it.
And we all have learned that like she can't have certain foods. So we do, when we get together and we make food, we ask before we even make food.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be okay? If not, I've got this. Would you rather this? Or do you want us just to have something else? She always says, no, I'm fine eating the other. But what she doesn't understand is I would have no problem making something else.
Oh, I know. But I'm not gonna put you out any more than you already are.
It was just chicken.
I know. But still, you're putting time and effort into something.
What I won't do is use that nasty almond milk and mashed potatoes ever again.
Yeah.
Did it for someone and they did me dirty.
That's fair. That's fair. Are you good if we stop?
Yeah, it was about 40 minutes.
I think I might throw up.
Oh, ew. Okay. All right, I'm Kendra,
I'm Rylan.
and we might regret this.
Oh, God.